that you do comedy in Spanish as well, and I find that really fascinating. And I was wondering, how would you translate a late night set in English to Spanish? Like, would you have to start from scratch because the terminology is going to be different and the cadence is going to be different?
Yeah, I mean, when it's a short set like that, it's pretty easy to just translate in my head. If it's newer stuff and it's longer and it still needs to be kind of, you know, edited to being funny, then that takes a little bit longer. It's kind of like the same. I'm just using a different part of my brain that's
Hmm.
a little bit slower because I don't use it as often.
But do they find the same things funny?
No, I mean, most of the general stuff like dating or family or, you know, quarantine stuff would be the same. Everybody gets that stuff. But if it's very subtle or very sarcastic, sometimes those subtleties don't really translate.
Yeah. That's why I don't like text messaging, especially like
Yeah.
with someone I'm seeing, because I'll say something as a joke, and they
Yeah.
think I'm being extremely rude.
I know. It's like you have to send an emoji with it
Yeah.
to let them know that it's a joke.
I noticed that on some of your late night sets, you wear a dress and dress more feminine, and then others you're more casual. And I was wondering how much you think about your like how you present yourself for depending on the audience, because this is something that I am trying to figure out myself.
It really just depended on my mood at the time. Like the Letterman one was my very first late night, and I knew that they had some kind of like not a dress code, but everyone who went on wore a suit and tie or really kind of glammed it up. And I was so excited and I wanted to really like dress it up because I don't really dress up on stage like on a regular nightly basis. Like if I'm on stage in New York, I just like to wear jeans and like a cute top or whatever, but nothing too distracting. So it felt really fun to just dress up for the Letterman ones. And then I think I only really wore, I think I wore pants for the first time when I did Ferguson, but it was just, again, they were more casual about it and it just felt right. And then the Tonight Show, I just felt like wearing pants because I'd worn a lot of dresses. And I think also because it was winter.
Because I was told um, that if the more feminine you dress, the more you can get away with saying raunchy or shocking things, because then you have that tension of
Oh,
what she said that, but she's so adorable. But
yeah.
I think it depends on the crowd, because I've definitely bombed places where I feel like in Midtown, and they're like, we don't want to hear a little blonde girl,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. I just go with my gut, you know.
Maybe it doesn't matter. I'm probably
And I mean, I don't really know until the very last minute. Well, the first time I got on TV was Last Comic Standing before late night. So it's kind of a blur, but I guess I was just shocked because I'd only done stand up for like 2 years. So I really didn't have a grasp on where my like career, you never really know where it's going, but it just felt really kind of new and awkward still.
And did
Um,
things change right away after that?
um, well, I was still like doing like booked back then it was like a lot of booked rooms where you had to bring people. I feel like there's a lot more rooms now where you can just like book your own show. But it did elevate me to the next level where like people would just ask me to come on without having to bring people or without having to flyer, you
Yeah,
know, because that was a big thing.
I
It
know.
sounds so weird, but it
The,
was just such a big deal.
the bringer thing feels so dirty.
I know it
It's,
does.
it's such a way to like burn friends. Like they'll come to the first
I
two and then they're like,
know. I
no.
know. I remember one time like 20 friends came and I'm like, you guys can't all come. I need you for the next show.
Exactly.
You know, like,
To
and
confirm.
they're like, we'll come. And I'm like, no, you won't, because I'm doing the same jokes. Like you have to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I look back at like the first few years, I mean, we all pay our dues, you know. there's so much we have to do to just maintain this career.
That's what I like about comedy though, because it's such an equalizer. It's not like your dad can like buy your way into the front of the line.
Totally. I mean, I guess if you're famous, maybe you have a famous sibling. I don't know. I wouldn't know because no one in my family is in the arts. So
I mean, I'm sure that helps getting your foot in the door, like getting a meeting or an agent or whatever. But if you're have the tenacity and the skill set to back it up, you're not going to stay there.
Totally.
Right before this, I got my first like nasty Twitter burn, and so I was wondering, do you look at comments? And if so, like, does it bother you?
Well, Twitter ones, I don't really like. I don't feel like I say anything that crazy on Twitter. It's just weird. But if I get comments, they're usually like for late night shows. Like I'll see it on YouTube, and I try not to look. Yeah. But I just saw one. Like I was on TikTok, and someone wrote something like, I don't know why this is funny because women aren't funny. A lot of them let's just put us all in the same category. Like, well, just women aren't funny.
Of course.
And I'm like, you're a loser with 2 followers and you don't even have, like, it's always a troll, you know, with like no face. His account is on private.
I think like women aren't funny is the incel catchphrase.
I know. At this point, it's not even an insult though. It's just like, you know,
incel. Those people that they've like.
Totally. I try not to read any of those. I don't know. Some people do, but I just after a while they just all say the same thing.
I know Cinderella will like fight back.
I feel like he has such a big following that it's probably more fun to fight back because then he's got his fans that like back him up. You know, I would probably say something and like 3 people would like it, you know?
Yeah. So your onstage persona is very acerbic and a little dark, which I love. Yeah. And I was wondering, did it take a while for you to craft that, or is that just straight out of the gate, like first open mic, you were like, this is my deal?
I didn't really try and craft it. It just kind of organically happened. I think I just became kind of deadpan because I was just thinking about my jokes as I was saying them, and I was so nervous to do stand-up at first too. Like I didn't know how to do it or what I was doing. So, and then the dark stuff, I think after a while I just started getting more interested in getting more specific. And then the specific stuff started to get dark. It just amused me.
Do you think that one has to have something they're embarrassed about or are bullied about to lead to comedy? Or do you think there are some well-adjusted people that are just like, I'm going to do this?
That's a good question. I haven't met anyone super well-adjusted yet, but I also know a lot of people who are not well-adjusted, who are not comics. So I think there has to be a drive to like share yourself with the world, because I always felt very kind of like repressed and shy, but then I also had a voice I wanted to share. And I think you have to have that voice that you want out there to become a comic. You can't just have the troubled childhood kind of thing.
Like Joker.
Exactly. Yes.